Well, hello there, everybody. Crusty old crow back again. Taking a little break from doing all this painting and having all this fun with all these 3D parts that I got from our friend Model Misfits 1138 on Instagram. Loki War 2001 in the comments. He's kept me a very busy man today, but so did the rest of the world. So I didn't get as much done as I thought I would today. But tonight, I'm not going to show you one, and I'm not going to show you two. I'm going to show you three figures over two videos. And the first two are really, they're just kit bashes. And so welcome to the Tactile Perspective. This is the Crows Customs Creations Corner. Characters, chapters, whatever you want to call it. It is just where I sit there and kit bash shit or scratch build shit or repaint it and build up my vision of what I think GIJoe should look like as I wanted it to be in my head, right? So pardon me while I stood up and walked away from the camera, but some of you just joined the channel, and I know that this video just came out, and it is popular enough, I guess, for one of my videos, one of my rambling videos, but I just wanted to update my Lady J before I get started. Two things are going on here. So one, I'm not in love with that chest harness there. Not in love with it. Don't really feel like it should have gone there. Probably going to put a smaller detail on there from where I cut the knife off the steel core trooper vest. But two, I wanted to show you guys, I did finish that rifle I was talking about in the last video. Just adding a little bit of scrim and breaking up that traditional Joe laser blaster. She's got to go up here to investigate what's going on anyways, because as you guys know, if you're following my little end state lore in the RDC, I promoted her to Major. That's Major J to you. Janet, if you're nasty. But I'll just stick her up here and just lead you in case. So one of the things I had to figure out is, do I really care to call something a custom, a kit bash, a conversion, a variant? I don't. I'll call it what I call it. But really, there is a difference between kit bashing and converting and repainting, right? And that's what really gets people mad with the repaints that we get with Hasbro sometimes is in order for a repaint or a figure to really draw us in, it's not always about it's not always about one thing. It's about a feature. And sometimes there are multiple features that we are after with that character. Take, for example, Serpentor. It was an amazing sculpt, a larger figure, had a chariot, had some accessories. Same as Dr. Mindbender. All these deluxe figures, they have lots of features within them, right? When you get them down to a lower price point, your standard off-the-shelf Joe, those features get dialed down. And so it becomes a little harder for a repaint of a regular edition Joe to be done and present anything new. And we saw that. We look at Tiger Force Flint, prime example. It was a repaint of the original Flint, and the feature they had was a paint job that I think they knew was going to be questionable with some people, especially around the face. And then the next feature was for Kondo's weapons, right? And then Flint's other weapons on top of that. So the feature wasn't as impressive. The thing wasn't as received, right? If you look at the new Tiger Force 2-pack with roadblock and tripwire, I think the features are there between the colors, the different appearances, and the amount of kit. I think we're looking at successful feature balances. So when I'm doing anything I want to do for a repaint or a conversion, what I've learned I have to ask myself is, look, where are your key features? And if I can't answer that, then I'm not doing it, right? Or it's just going to be something very simple, very subtle. And that's what today is two very simple, very subtle, very subtle kit bashes I did, just using two 3D printed parts and a couple of figures I got on sale. And oh no, what's going on over here? What's going on with Deadpool? Why is Deadpool looking like Dr. Mindbender? Do you know that this resin for my Cobra diorama has been curing for almost 3 weeks, and it's still not fully cured? I'm amazed it's taken that long, but that's because there's no airflow going over it and stuff. So, no, lesson learned. Crow's all about learning lessons. Yeah, if you look here, it would appear that Deadpool is in the picture, and it's because this conversion is about masks and a dude named Wade. Okay, so for masks, we're going to talk about Cobra Commander. As a kid, I had one Cobra Commander. It was it was the unimpressive early blue Deke cartoon version. Pardon me while I do this. I just figured out I do need both hands right now. And I was fine. I thought Cobra Commander was a cool looking dude. Yeah, I had him posed like he's dead. There's a story there. I thought he was a fine looking dude, but over the years, what I found was he was like a paper tiger. Looked dangerous, but as soon as he was the worst. Like between the voice, the lack of charisma, the constant, what's the word, whining and complaining as a leader, and the deflecting of blame, I learned to hate Cobra Commander as a character, as a leader of a supposedly, viably dangerous terrorist organization. No, not this guy. So in my instinct idea, I picture that Cobra's been fooling everybody for decades now, believing that they had one Cobra Commander and he was the most incompetent. And finally, it all came to a head, but it wasn't Jay that took him out. No. If you guys have been following what the Skybound and Entertainment has been doing with the comics for your GIJoe, you'll see that they've brought some characters back from the IDW publishing and other publishings. No, my Cobra Commander, let's see if I can get him out there, was taken out by Wade Collins. So the Wade Collins character is, I had to look him up, because it was past my time as a Joe fan. But Wade Collins, I made him out of the Everett Ross Marvel Legends figure, and then a 3D head provided to me by Loki Wartooth, and it's not my best paint job on that head. I'll probably try and work those flesh tones out. I don't like the eyes, but like it looks all right from a distance, but as you get closer, it's not as Falcone creepy, but creepy. It's not my best paint job. I'm gonna fix that. I wasn't too happy with it in this light, but the other one I am. So that's a very simple little kit bash. The head fit on perfectly. I just have a little sliver of sticky tack because it wants to rattle, but the ball joint fit, perfectly into the hole. Just a little room inside. But yeah, give him a silencer. So Wade Collins is the father of Sean Collins, who we also know as like Snake Eyes 2, right? The second Snake Eyes, or as you know him better in the classified line, Kamakura. So now I have incentive to buy a Kamakura if I ever get one in the wild or make something about it. Anyways, Wade Collins in the new Skybound Entertainment. Him and Laura 343 had a showdown with the Cobra Commander, and while Serpentor was trying to do his bio bomb and the Joes were trying to stop him, in the background there was this battle between Wade Collins with Laura 343, the two ex-Crimson Guards, squaring off against a captured Cobra Commander, and Cobra Commander escapes by killing Wade Collins. So in my end state universe, this is I was trying to think of a character that would suit this, like a handler kind of guy, a rep. And then I thought of Wayne Collins, and then I watched the cartoon, and I had the perfect name for him. If you're a fan of the cartoon if you just want to humor a guy who's re-envisioning a new Joe, darker, the R-rated Joe, I would picture it as his call sign being Watchdog. And if you know what Watchdog was, you know that it almost fits with the idea of a disastrous thing that's there to support you. So Wade Collins got done, and but why do I have the Cobra Commander box up there? Because it's probably one of the low-hanging fruit that I did the Wade Collins. A lot of probably guys doing conversions that like Joe probably done the same thing, and I wouldn't blame them. There's a lot of other minor characters that you can do. But one of the most major ones I had to do, and I've been wanting to do it since I started collecting this line, is correct my vision of Cobra Commander. In my eyes, in my endgame world, the Cobra Commander that I have is the one that killed all the other Cobra Commanders and revealed that, we've been pulling the eyes over the world's eyes pulling the wool over the eyes for all this time. And then he brings about the end of civilization in America, Canada, the entire American continent. He achieves what others could not and puts an end to it, right? And that's how I envision him. I envisioned the black hood, the leather, the espionage factor, the sinister. And I'd seen an image of this for Retaliation a while ago. That this is one of the concepts they were playing with. It wasn't what made me do it, nor was the neat little art I found the other day about it. Somebody else had a vision of this where he looked truly insane and was pulling the mask off his face. No, what made it do it was just trying to think of a darker Joe. And what I liked about this particular piece that Loki Wartooth provided is it's not like the other hooded Cobra Commander cowls that you see on there on the 3D print market, or well, at least not some of the ones I've seen. They all have some sort of balaclava like eye slot detail, like almost like a Spider-Man eye slot, and things like that. And some of them are lacking the Cobra Commander symbol or the Cobra symbol on the hood. This had all of it. And the way I went about this one, again, just the Nick Fury figure from Secret Invasion from Marvel Legends. And with the hood, I did this one differently than others. The third figure, I used the same approach on a feature that I used here. And what that feature is, guys, is I'm just going to demonstrate it on who's the head I'm not painting right now. Let's just pick one. Let's go with... We'll just go with this Saving Private Ryan, ambush looking World War II head, right? Like, so what I do for the Cobra Commander is I could have painted that just a flat black, but then I would lose depth. I would only have what's reliant with the lighting. And it wouldn't really match the idea of leather. It would be shiny and black or too flat, like purposely flat, like it's guarding fuel. And I don't want to have that effect. So when I do this particular approach to the hood, all I'm doing is I'm mixing about a 50% solution to a 75-75% solution, depending on how dark I want to go, of black acrylic model paint and water. And then it's just a matter of being patient over the period of a couple of days sometimes, of just layering that on with a brush, washing it on like this. So I'll move the camera a bit closer. Hopefully I don't lose sight of what I'm doing. You guys are between my legs, pervs. All right, so you just layer it on like that. And what'll happen is, as it drips dry, the residue of the paint will stick to the model, and then it'll dry there, and then you just persistently go over, and so it'll slowly get darker in recesses and in the grooves as it goes. So that takes about 5 minutes every few hours, but I just spread it out over a couple of days. I work on probably a good 4 figures at a time now. If not more, but yeah, that's all it is just layering it on there. And eventually, I'll just swirl that around to get that cleaned off. Eventually you end up with an effect like what I've got happening there with the dull grayish black fade to it. And I think it worked out really well with his eyes. I'm hoping you guys agree. I don't know. For my 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, 5th, 6th figure since starting this. These were the 2 easiest to do. They were just simple head swaps, so I call them kit bashes with a flare at best. But that's pretty much what I wanted to show you with that. The really cool thing about this Cobra Commander head that I liked. Okay, so I talked about this. I don't know if I've talked about this enough or at all, but I'm just going to grab a few examples of some heads where, thankfully, what I wanted to know from Loki before was when you work with these resin heads. I've worked with small figurines before. When they drop, the resin's so brittle, it just shatters like glass. And so what I was concerned about was, I knew that there are like, 20 different neck joints out there in between Classified, Marvel Legends, and other brands you want to do your kit bashes with. How do we get around this? So it's really a matter of what you're willing to do with the neck. So for me, my solution is using sticky tack with holes that are too big. And if the hole is too small, I had to Dremel them out. And I was able to Dremel these out. It creates a white powder and it doesn't fracture, but I had to take my time either with a grinder, an X-Acto, like a little grinding tool, or with a Dremel. But you can see it's just a matter of grinding these holes out to become bigger and bigger, right? But with the Cobra Commander, they know that's going to cover the whole damn neck, so they just didn't even bother with the hole. They just made it an empty hood cowl. fits beautifully over Fury as such. And now I've got the kind of threat that I think Joe has a right to form all these subunits off and be concerned about, and could very well have spelt the end of our civilization over here in the West as we know it. I was happy with that. But yeah, I thought I'd share that with you guys today, and I'm going to call it on that. I'm going to go out, re-spool, and I'm going to show you the one that I really wanted to show you. It's one that everybody does it, but I think I did it different. And we'll see what you guys think. Thanks very much. Don't forget, if you like these videos, like, share, subscribe, get the notifications, get me to 350. We have the contest. Talk about it another time. Thanks very much.